How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with a little bit of Heist Brewing up in this piece in the form of their Citraquench'l. Yeah, this is 7.1% alcohol by volume, India Pale Ale brewed with Citra hops. Yeah, these guys are out of North Carolina, Charlotte to be exact. And this can comes courtesy of my boy Oak Ridge. He puts this on a pretty high pedestal, so I'm kind of pumped to try this sucker. He said, "Oh, it'd be great to do a side by side." I kind of thought about it for a half second. I'm like, maybe I'll do a side-by-side between this and Julius. That's the pedestal he puts it on. He's like, yeah, man, this is kind of gives Julius a run for its money. But then I remembered, new brewery. It's their beer. Why do I want to put it up against somebody else's beer? It's kind of douchey. Let me drink a bunch of Heist stuff first. Get them under my belt. And then maybe we'll do a little bit side-by-side. Give them their own platform to stand on for a little bit. And we'll see what's what. That shit looks awesome, though. Label-wise, that's pretty ghetto. Yeah, almost to the point where it's so ghetto I love it. Yeah, it's just whoever, I don't know who's designing this label, but it's got to be one of the friends of the people or someone that works at the brewery. Yeah, no barcode again, man. I'm getting all these zero barcode beers. Yeet Juice. It's a month old, and yeah, so I kind of like the brewery in its or the label in its kind of ghetto fantasticalness. Now, as far as that beer looks, that looks like soft, pillowy, creamy goodness. I mean, it almost has that soft cataract edge that you expect from kind of like lactose IPA. Just pretty. Doesn't have that kind of dense orangeness that you expect from either oxidation or a rich kind of malt bill. Super creamy. You can see the lacing on the edge already. Super creamy, lacing, kind of bubbly, soapy edges with this kind of pillowy top. You want to sleep on the top of that MFer. Yeah. Off to a good-looking start, at least beer-wise. The label is just fun because it's ghetto. Let's get a nose. Gotta say, not really getting much of anything on the nose, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, there's just a soft... There's a soft citrus to it. And the citrus comes off like, how would I put this? It's not organic, but it's not, I shouldn't say it. It's not synthetic, but it's not straight organic. And by that I mean, it's like, if you're ever, I mean, this is dating me because who the fuck drinks Tang anymore? But they used to sell Tang in these little plastic tubby things. And like if you shook it and opened it up, it'd be like this dust cloud of orangey Tang, a fine particle like Tang Keef. Would float out and you'd kind of smell it. It's like that, but knock out the sweetness like crazy. So it's this soft, kind of powdery, confectionery kind of orange thing, but doesn't really have much as far as sweetness goes. It's very light, very gentle. Yeah, not much of a nose. Not really getting much green, not getting a huge amount either way. Just kind of neutral. Let's dive in. Cheers. Okay. So, definitely kicks up the pace and the taste. And it's nice. It has this rich orange characteristic across the board. From your kind of citrus fruits. A little bit of soft kind of like mango-y kind of tropical fruit melon thing maybe on the end. And not nearly as big as a citrus. A little bit of pineapple, a little bit of grapefruit. Orange is leading the way here. But it still reminds me of that little powdery Tang Keefy thing going on. But not as synthetic or cloyingly sweet as that would sound as I say words that don't make sense. It's a nice bittering, albeit slightly generic. It's a little danky weedy thing, but it's not too big. It's probably 1/3 dank, 2/3 of that citrus thing going on. Really nice soft mouthfeel to it. It's not next level water nerdy level mouthfeel, but really tasty. This is a really good beer. Listen. It's hard to do these beers when you have such another beer kind of pegged in your brain, even though it's the first time I'm jumping into it, and you try to be as impartial as possible. When the giver of the goods is like, man, this is really kind of my kind of thing that I would choose, if not choose over Julie. It's very associative that way, and I don't want to sit here and I don't want to kind of trump on Treehouse on Heist's kind of dime when it comes to this review, but it's hard to disconnect yourself from thinking those things when you do the review, when that's kind of teed up for you like that. I don't think this is very much like Julius at all. It shares a lot of similarities. It's tasty. It's fun. It just lacks the little bit of volume on each one of those points. More specifically, a little touch on that green that makes it a little bit more green than kind of just dank, you know. But it's tasty. I was gonna say it's kind of like methadone for Julius. That's kind of how it comes off to me. I don't want to say it that way because it kind of diminishes and kind of goes on the beer, and I'm not trying to do that, even though I keep doing it and I keep saying the words. But it's a tasty beer. I really like it. Let's put it this way: if a brewery opens by me, I go in, I get a 4-pack of this, I get home, I drink this, I'm ecstatic. It has that soft mouthfeel I love. It's giving me all the orange that I want. That soft little green on there. For me, especially being 7.1%, it drinks more like 6 for me. I just want a little, just a little. I don't want you to crank it to the max, just a little in the volume, and it would be up there with a lot of the upper echelon versions of this kind of beer. It's tasty, it's drinkable. I want more of it. Let's put it that way. But to answer your question, Oak Ridge, thank you. I mean, you're sitting on a bunch of, you're Treehouse guy, you go up there all the time, so you know better than me. But from my limited exposure, let's put it that way, different beer, but tasty nonetheless. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better kind of hazy IPAs that I've had as of late? Still, yes, it's still worthy of being in a conversation. That's not a thing. It's just when you kind of get closer to the top, it gets a little bit muddled and gets a little bit harder. There's so many people that make great haze nowadays. There's a ton of people that make shitty haze, don't get me wrong, but there's a ton that make really good stuff. And this is definitely in a conversation. There's just some I like a little bit more than this one. Value and availability, no idea. Let me know what's what and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like Julius? Yeah, if you like those beers of those kind of ilk, then you'll like this. If you like that orange leaning, citrus leaning kind of fruit beers with a touch of bittering that is a little bit kind of greeny danky, but nothing too over the top, you'll dig this beer. Water nerdy people will dig this, even though it's not the softest, creamiest beer in the history of mankind. It does have that kind of water treatment nerdery thing going on for it, which is quite nice. And if you just like well done haze, you'll dig it. So there we go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of what are they? Citraquench'l? Citraquench'l, man. I can't believe I remember that before I turn it around. Well, we'll see you next time. Cheers.